What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. And it has been a year since I have been unemployed, since I have been a leech on the system, since I have been working harder than I ever have in the past. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I've been riding and goofing around with motorcycles for a while now, but I've only been doing it for 1 full year on this channel here. And I figured it'd be fun to just kind of talk about it a little bit and do a general AMA. I had put out a post on Discord and on YouTube asking people to ask me whatever they want. And we're gonna see what kind of questions they've got, and let's just dive on in and have a good time. So clearly a slightly different video here, but I think it would be kind of fun to talk about the year briefly, very briefly. I know I ramble a lot, but I'm gonna keep this nice and tight for you. First of all, the whole reason I can do this is because of you guys. Because you guys watch the videos, I get to keep making them. The folks on Patreon are literally keeping a roof over my head right now. If you would like to support the channel, link is in the description, by the way. But you don't have to. If all you want to do is just watch the videos, that's enough for me. Now, throughout this year, I've gotten the opportunity to ride some really awesome motorcycles through AF1, through Harley Davidson, through Livewire, through Energica, so many cool opportunities. And again, it's all thanks to you guys watching the videos and, you know, having a good time with them. So again, thank you very much. I got to hang out with Shade Tree Surgeon. I got to hang out with Jess from Her Two Wheels, Chase and Bo from Chase on Two Wheels, all sorts of cool YouTube folks, and the community's just incredible. I think this is one of the most fun communities to be a part of, and I like to think that I'm doing something just a little bit different, or at least throwing my own little spin on it. But you know, at the end of the day, like Josh says, I like bike, and hopefully you guys like bike too, you know? That's all you really have to do at the end of the day to enjoy your time on two wheels is just go have fun and go ride. And with that, one more time, I just want to say thank you to you guys for watching and supporting the channel for a year. If you keep watching them, I'll keep making them. Let's dive on into the reason you're really here, the Ask Me Anything stuff, the questions and answers, and we're gonna start with Don ATX over on the Discord. What is your favorite bike that you've ridden in the past year on your channel? And we're gonna add Diabetes Man's modifier that you didn't also buy, because if you saw the video from a little while ago, I bought the Moto Guzzi Grezzo that I test rode because I just had that good of a time on it. That bike was so much fun. Well, it is so much fun. It's in the garage right now. But I would say my most favorite motorcycle that I've ridden this year was probably the Ducati Multistrada Pikes Peak. That was an unbelievable motorcycle. It was so good. And if I could afford one, that would be the motorcycle that would end all motorcycles in my garage. It would be the ultimate motorcycle for me. It's fast, it's torquey, handles like a supermoto, but it's really comfortable and it's really easy to ride with cruise control. I've ridden so many bikes with cruise control, I can't go back to not having it. Chemical asking, what was your best day of riding? Can be one you've already done or something you'd like to do at some point. And what is your favorite food and snack? Best day of riding, easy. So this was a couple of years ago. It was me, Yami, Whitney, Josh, and a couple of other guys from a tour group out of St. George, Utah. We rode up into Escalante and then down into the Grand Canyon's North Rim via this like miles long stretch of deep powdery sand. And I was on a BMW 1250 GS, and it was brutal, it was hard, but it was fun. I crashed that in the sand. I dumped that BMW like 4 or 5 times. And very few of them were actually on camera. It was one of the hardest rides I've ever done, but we ended up at the Grand Canyon at a place where you can't get to through the like normal national park stuff, and you could literally walk up to the rim and look down into the, you know, briny depths of the Colorado River like a mile beneath you. And that's when my fear of heights really kicked in, and I was like, you know, that little lizard part of your brain is just like, jump, jump, jump. And then I was like, no, I'm gonna go get back on the GS and struggle through the sand. That was definitely one of the best days of riding, just because of the reward of being at this super secluded part of the Grand Canyon that you only get to see by struggling to get there. It was really cool. As far as my favorite food, I can't go wrong with a nice hamburger grilled out on my back porch. Lil Rob with a bunch of 666s in his name, after being part of such a large channel that just churns out content constantly. Well, it doesn't just churn out content. It is so hard to make that amount of content. When you went it alone, was it harder than you thought? And if you were to do it again, would you do anything differently? The biggest thing that has been difficult for me is just managing the different aspects of all of this. So obviously, when I was at Yami Noob, I was just doing all the production stuff. So I was looking at, you know, this is the sponsor that needs to be in this video. Josh would tell me what sponsor that needed to be. Little Josh, not Shade Tree Surgeon. But he would tell me what sponsor needs to be on there, and then I would write the sponsorship integration and do all that other stuff. And then, you know, Yami and I would sit down and we'd talk about titles and thumbnails and all that stuff. So I was focused solely on production. Now I'm doing everything. So merch, I'm dealing with sponsors, I'm dealing with just running the business and tax stuff. There's so much stuff going on that's tough. And that has been the biggest part, is going from focusing on just production to running the whole thing. If I was gonna do it all over again, any different, first thing I would do is every single time I got cash in, I would set a third of it aside because taxes suck. I hate having to deal with taxes. I have to write off so much stuff, I have to write checks, it's a giant pain in the butt. I would just take any of the net and I would just set aside a third of it. Tiki Caster asking a question I got a ton of, and this is going to just be the one time I address this because I mostly look forward, and honestly, I think the situation got blown way out of proportion. But do I still talk to Yami? Can you tell us a backstory? So we actually run into each other relatively often, not all that much because we have different filming schedules, but we all film in Austin. So we run into each other, you know, once a month, something like that. And I really don't have any bad blood or animosity. There's no bad blood between us. I'm so busy doing what I'm doing and he's so busy doing what he's doing that we never really talk. And if I was going to describe our working relationship, it's a lot like Adam and Jamie from the Mythbusters. Really, really great chemistry on camera. They worked really, really well together, but they don't really hang out outside of work. That's essentially what it was for us. We worked really well together, we had great chemistry, and we made great content. I stand by 99.9% of the videos that we made during my 3 years there. I think it was awesome. The amount of work that we did was biblical in the motorcycling space, and they're still doing a biblical amount of work. But, you know, we worked well together. We never really hung out though. And again, I have no bad blood whatsoever for Yami or anybody at the crew. Things just worked out the way they were supposed to work out. I don't believe in fate or any of that crap, but the dice fell and everybody came out ahead. It honestly worked out for everybody. Everybody is where they need to be. Then moving on over to YouTube, Garf asking, what does your team look like? Does the production process look much different versus when you were at Yami Noob? Love the content, feels great to see you grow over the year. Thanks for the message, man. I appreciate that. What does my team look like? Right now, it is me and it is Great Egret over on, he's editing from somewhere in Wisconsin. He's got a channel linked below, and he is the only, well, him and one other guy are the only people I work with consistently. The other guy runs sponsorship stuff, nothing to do with on camera. He just helps me manage sponsor relations. Joe is the guy who does one video edit a week roughly. I'm behind on getting him edits, but more or less the production schedule is the same, except it's not nearly as far out. Because it's just me, I move a lot faster. Like with the BMW video that went live last week, I filmed and edited that in a day, and then it went live on Saturday. So I think I filmed it on Thursday, edited it the morning of Friday, put it up on Patreon for that afternoon, and then it went live on Saturday. I can move really, really quickly because it's just me. So sometimes the production schedule gets really wonky, and like I had the Grizo video just sitting on YouTube for like 2 weeks, the 2.0 video. It's a lot more fluid, and it shouldn't be. I should not be as fluid as I am. I do appreciate sometimes when it helps, but I should be a lot more organized than I am, and that's all on me. Saint A-Rod, would you ever do group rides / meetups with fans locally? Meetups, yes. Rides, probably not. Rides are very hectic. I lead group rides all the time. And when you have more than like 10 bikes and you have no kind of chase truck or you have no sort of escort, it can be very difficult to keep the group together, and it just kind of weirds me out having more than 10 or 12 bikes in a line. It's very hard to lead those group rides. However, meetups, I'd love to do meetups. I'm trying to figure out if maybe I can like get the AF1 guys to host one. That would be really cool. Or just find, you know, a joint somewhere in town and be like, suddenly 50 people showed up. So, because I'm not having 50 people at my house. My HOA would tear me a new asshole. Review Ultimate 1, will you and would you like to make more tour videos? Yeah, tour videos are a lot of fun. The only issue is it's exhausting to do them. You're riding all day long and then you're like sleeping in a hotel or wherever. If I was gonna do it, I would do it out of the back of the van. The van is currently sitting out front because the oil pan is leaking, and fingers crossed, the rear main is not leaking, because I really don't want to split I really don't want to split the front of the engine or the motor from the transmission. That would be a fucking nightmare. But if I can fix the van, get the oil to stay inside the motor, and have one of the cams stop ticking, then I could just take this van wherever. I'm really hoping to get the Hawk to be in the place where that becomes like my little travel bike, and I can just throw it on the back and go wherever. A. Harrington asking, how difficult is it / was it for your process for coming up with new content ideas? Is it getting easier? It's easy to come up with ideas. It's hard to execute on them. I have a board right over there with a ton of video ideas, but getting access to the motorcycles, getting access to spare hands to help, or just writing the script can be a little bit tough. And it's been extra tough this summer just because it's so hot out. It's been grueling trying to film out. It's getting better, and so you'll see a lot more high effort kind of videos come throughout the winter, because we actually have really great mild winters down here in theory. It's been tough, mostly just because I don't get to do everything I want. Sometimes I have to scale back what I need to do. Daniel Doyle, not really a question, but I host the largest mini moto ride on the West Coast, starting in Seattle but continuing through forested, twisty back roads. Would love to have you and any of your team make it up. Just send me a link or drop me an email. It's in the About page. Bricky Dude asking, you always ask your viewers what we want to see. What videos do you enjoy making the most? It's the scripted stuff. I really like doing the scripted stuff. It can be tough by myself just because setting up the shots is very difficult. I can't really do flybys on my own. So I'm working on ways to add that to the videos without having to stop and put this camera that I'm currently talking to on the side of the road and then just let it sit there while I drive past it a couple of times. Because this is an expensive camera and I don't want somebody to accidentally bump into it or think it's free. Rocky Trolls Vlogs asks, can you speak to how you've matured as a rider after becoming a YouTuber and how it changed the variety of riding styles and or improved your mechanical and motorcycling engineering and knowledge? So yeah, for sure. I originally thought that being good at motorcycles just meant not dying on the street. Now I realize that there's so much to motorcycling, whether it's off-road, whether it's road racing, whether it's you know, choppers and shows and all that stuff. There's so much cool stuff to do, and really the thing that I learned is that I don't know anything. Part of the reason why I got the Hawk was so that I could start tinkering with the engine, start doing this, that, and the other thing, and learn how motors really work, because I've built one, but I sort of understand, but I don't really truly understand how to do all the little things, like adjusting the valves. I've taught myself how to do that on the Hawk. And then I've had the opportunity to go do champ school and off-road riding schools and all sorts of cool stuff. And that has really changed my perspective, because it just shows me how much you need to learn to be good at riding a motorcycle. So my biggest response there is just how much motorcycling is more than just transportation. Patrick asking, what would be your advice to somebody starting to put out content on social media that you've learned the hard way? Post on Instagram and then just stay consistent. If start with like once a week or once every 2 weeks or something like that. And then if you can speed it up, but don't start at like 2 a week and expect it to be worth your time, because it's not gonna be. It's a slow and steady grind. That was the biggest thing for me going solo, was getting that consistency down. Archetype Paradox, what's your favorite sandwich to eat? What ingredients, specific order? Bread, split it in half. Toast it on whatever you're gonna toast it on, under the broiler, on a George Foreman, whatever. Basil pesto, both sides. Then mozzarella sliced on top of the pesto. Then you do salami, pepperoni, ham, smashed together, panini press. That's the way to do it. One of my favorite sandwiches. It's so easy to make, tastes good, and then you have, you know, sides, whatever you want. Mabecca asking, have you ever thought about getting someone on the channel for more back and forth content? Yes, so Whitney and I used to go film all the time. She's super busy, she's also having a kid, so it's a little bit tough for her right now. She's actually on maternity bike break, but she'll be back probably in like the middle of November, something like that. I did get my buddy Ben in for a video, and generally I think he did great. He did the usual first time on camera thing where you talk a little bit fast and you just needed to relax a little bit. But I think if I get him back on camera, it would be awesome. And I really do want to get him out for a couple of other videos. I think we can have a ton of fun. And if you're not sure which video that was, it was his first time on an electric motorcycle or something like that. Probably a link in the cards. Curly Wolf asking, what did you do before YouTube? I was a working stiff in a real estate company doing virtual tours using 360-degree cameras. So I would, Insta360 wasn't rocking around back then, or they might have been, but the X3 didn't exist. So I found other 360-degree cameras that I would basically ship out to brokers, have them take the photos, and then I would make virtual tours for real estate. And had I known then that this was coming out, I would have everybody use this, because this is an awesome 360-degree camera. Now this part's all just sort of selfishly for me here, because I like talking about guitar stuff, obviously. So we've got Elix asking, is that you playing the intro riff? No, I'm terrible at playing the guitar. I also don't mix any of my own stuff. I mostly just goof around for giggles, which makes it really funny that I have a 4x12 cabinet. It's absolutely overkill for what I do, but that is not me playing. I actually use artlist.io, and I find all kinds of awesome tracks there. There's some really great stuff. And then I'd love to know your top 3 bands current and of all time. I wear a lot of band shirts and stuff, so wanting to know my tastes. Number 1, Amon Amarth. Absolutely Amon Amarth. Number 2, Orbit Culture. Number 3, currently, Avatar. If you have not seen Avatar live, one of the best metal shows, period. It's so cool. Orbit Culture is really awesome just because it's this really hyper-aggressive modern metal. And then, I mean, Amon Amarth, come on. But I've got a ton that just sort of rotate in and out. Love Arch Enemy, love At the Gates. I even love myself some like Godsmack and stuff like that, some older rock stuff. Basically, I started listening to metal with Probot by Dave Grohl. It was this album that he put together where he was like, these are the songs that inspired me to start playing. And then I was like, metal's awesome. Let's go deeper. And then, you know, I just fell down a rabbit hole. And that's pretty much all I listen to nowadays. But I do listen to some other fun stuff, some weird stuff too, like Heilung and Wardruna, just because it's just general atmospheric stuff I can listen to while I'm editing. Luke P77 asking, how long have I been playing the guitar? I started on bass in high school, and then I picked up a 6-string in college, and then I kind of put it away for a few years, and then during the pandemic, I really started playing guitar hard again. So like 1920, I really started playing, so I guess 3-ish years. Andrew Blahut asking multiple guitar questions. 1, do I have a Metal Zone to go with that shirt, referring to the Death by Chainsaw shirt? Actually, not a Metal Zone. It's an HM2, but I do have the Metal Zone, because of course I do. Anybody who plays any kind of distorted guitar has one of these in their pedal board somewhere, or in the closet. This is normally where this lives. But the shirt is referring to this, which you may notice I don't have in the standard chainsaw configuration. Because this is the Wazacraft, it doesn't need to be dimed, but it does have the standard mode where you do have to dime it. Then I have one of my favorites, the Northern Mauler, which is an HM2 and a Rev G3, I think, put together. This is awesome. Absolutely love this pedal. 2, favorite warm-up riff. I sit and play Wrath of the Norseman by Amon Amarth because it's got a lot of cool different stuff going on. Like, here. All right. So the reason why I like this one is because it's got a whole bunch of different stuff in it. You know, power chord stuff, some sliding around the neck. Some tremolo picking stuff, and then some little solo lead work. That's just always really fun to play. I usually start there, and then I kind of go into some other, you know. You know, just random Swedish metal stuff. 3, if I had to give up one, guitar or motorcycle, shoot me. I'm not giving up either. I love them both too much. The Car Spy asking why Drop D is the best tuning. It's not. D standard is the best tuning, and I can prove it because this right here, whoops, is in Drop D. So obviously Gojira stuff is all in D standard, but I have a lot of gain going on right now and no noise gate, as you can probably tell. C, drop C is just one string away. you get the picture. And then last question from Troy Richardson, 5991. Aside from music and motorcycles, what other topics are you interested in? I'm actually a pretty big gamer. Don't talk about it a lot on the channel, but the computer right here, which is actually the picture that is on the merch page for the Spice Corner sticker, is a beast that I built in the pandemic for Cyberpunk. I've been gaming forever. But, you know, I'm working my way through Baldur's Gate right now. I've got Phantom Liberty just dropped the day that we're filming this. So I've got myself a ton of stuff to play through. I say that all of this stuff on my desk is for work, but let's be real. I managed to justify building a gaming PC for work so that I can, you know, in my off hours, play some really cool stuff. And with that, guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up. It has been 49 minutes. Haha, that's way too long. I need to cut some of this shit down. And hopefully you enjoyed this. It was fun, and I kind of would like to do, maybe we could do it like a live stream once a month or something like that, where we just do some general Q&A stuff. That would actually be really fun. So let me know if that's something you want to do, and hopefully you've enjoyed this year. And again, here at the end, if you're still watching, thank you. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching the videos. Thanks for supporting the channel. Even if you're not kicking any cash, just watching the videos is enough to make everything else possible. And it's because of you guys that I get to do this. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.